Hi, everyone. I'm Reverend Nikki Happy, the Director of Marketing and Engagement at One Spirit, and I am sitting here today with Reverend Abigail Jefferson. How are you?
I am well. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you. It's so great to be with you, and we're here to discuss your upcoming workshop that is called Telling Our Stories,
Mhm.
Storytelling to Heal and Revere Our Ancestral Line. That's a strong and powerful title. Can you tell us a little bit about what was the inspiration behind this workshop that is for One Spirit?
I would say that the inspiration is from my grandfather. When I was a child growing up in Washington, D.C., back in the 60s and 70s, my grandfather gave me the gift of story. And so I would sit on the front porch in the summer times and he would just weave stories. And he would become like everything in the story. He would be the characters, he would be the sound effects, he would be the scenery. And I would just get so much joy listening to his stories. It would just fill me up inside with a lot of happiness. And just from that experience, I've been inspired to want to pass on stories to others as well, and not just keep it to myself, but to pass it on and to inspire other people to pass their stories on as well. And it may not necessarily be a story that you've heard from a grandfather or a grandmother. It could very well be a story that you heard from a friend, or just a story that you possibly, made up in your own head that you might want to pass on as well. So that's what inspired me to want to do this workshop, is to keep stories alive.
Keep the stories alive and have people keep telling them. That's beautiful. And so tell us about who you are and what you're up to in the world.
Well, I am a spiritual wellness coach. I'm also an interfaith, interspiritual minister. I'm an author, in addition to being a yoga teacher and storyteller, and I'm also an initiate of the Ifa and Kemetic traditions. And so I've been telling stories in professional settings for many, many years, and I've also taught on the college campus, telling stories as well, and teaching classroom teachers to tell stories in their classrooms in order to honor the diverse ways of knowing. But I would say overall, my work is to connect people to their inner child and to tap into their imagination, and just to allow their creativity and their energy, their creative energy, to flow.
Telling our stories, if you could just walk us through what the experience is going to be like for participants.
Okay, so the workshop will start with paying respect to the ancestors and their stories we revere. Our ancestors know us, even if we do not know them. Our ancestors don't necessarily have to be our blood, but it could also be people who've transitioned, who's passed on, that we feel very close to and connected to, and that also that our ancestors are always around us, guiding us. And what's really important is that we're hoping that it's in this workshop that you'll become comfortable with going before your ancestors and asking them to share their stories with you, and that I'll also be sharing some of my personal testimony around my relationship and how I've actually gotten stories from my ancestors to pass on to others, and to have a better understanding of myself as well as my family and our community. We'll then move into remembering and listening to and sharing our stories. We'll play some storytelling games. I'll offer some prompts to spark story ideas. Speaking, listening, pausing, pacing, timing, and personal style and tone will also be practiced. The workshop will be fun. It'll be interactive, participatory, hands-on, and of course, reflective. We'll go into the importance of the legacy of storytelling, and how to actually carry these stories on and to pass them on to others. And we'll just do a whole lot of practicing of telling and listening to each other's stories. And then we'll end our time together and remembering and also paying homage to our ancestors as well.
Wonderful. And so after this workshop has concluded, what are the takeaways that you want all of us to have?
What's important is that we increase our comfort level with remembering and telling stories, and to develop a greater appreciation of storytelling as an art form, and to recognize that we're all storytellers, that we're always creating and telling stories every day, and to understand the importance of keeping the storytelling tradition alive so that we can celebrate and be grateful for our differences as well as our commonalities, and to explore how to use storytelling as a sacred practice to go before our ancestors and ask them for guidance, and to possibly actually lead us to stories that we may not already know, to help us to understand things about ourselves and about others, and also about those who've gone before us, and to experience the joy of doing so.